Brilliant impact against Villa. With matches of football.
Yes, people, welcome back to another video. And this afternoon, I want to talk about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And before I do that, I'd just like to let you know, people, do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And listen, I've done 2 streams yesterday. One with a Chelsea fan, Dan. Do check us out for that. Talk about Lukaku. I'm sure we'll probably get back to him at some stage. And I hope everyone's having a lovely day, having a lovely new year. Everyone's blessed. Each and every one of you has been absolutely spot on. I'm still waiting for Ryan and Rich to come on my channel to talk about Aubameyang as well. And listen, could be busy. Ryan's doing bits in a minute. He comes as soon as he can. And I just sent a link to Rich. And listen, he's there very, very soon. So yeah, it is what it is. So if you're busy, cool. If not, not a problem. So they're just going to go on to a video coming in a minute. Tom in 5 videos now. Got some comments flying through the go. Kieran Trippier and goes to Son Goen. And I hope that a deal can kickstart what I recognise needs to be a busy window. Centre backs, midfield, strikers, and also wanted Botman, Gray, and Kamara. Also, I think a loan deal would be a good idea. My opinion on Aubameyang in a minute. Save option, the potentially talks about talented player, Rick, and him might even help each other out and then improve mentally. Afternoon to Keith, hope you're fine, mate. Well, big up to you, my guy. Having a good day. Yeah, absolutely fine. You know, it's a quiet day, but listen, it's what it is. And, you know, gotta get myself sorted out soon. Afternoon to JK, hope you're fine. 2 news, big up to you, mate. Now, big up to you, mate. Triple deal is close. And good afternoon to Gareth and Chip as here, John. I've come on. I told you would, Chip as. I told you would because you miss it so much, don't you? Listen, I bet you missed Joel Linton more than I do, but there you go. Listen, by the way, so guys, donations is open, and if you want to become a member or join a membership, please hit the join button, and it costs you as little as 99p. Now, let's go on to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, according to reports last night from the Daily Mirror, because they came out first, and then followed on the Mail Online, we're being linked with this player from Arsenal, and as well documented, he's not in the first team. In fact, it's been dropped by Mikel Arteta because he came back late when he'd been away visiting this mum who has been very well. And apparently, I mean, he got that late. This is not the first time it's happened to him. He's been that late 3 times. And Mikel Arteta basically said, right, I had enough of you, mate. I really had enough of you because you're letting the team down and you're not coming back on time. So he stripped off his captaincy. And also as well, his fans are not in the team. So he's not very happy about that. He's also been linked for Barcelona as well. And you know, and obviously Barca's got money now because he's just signed Ferran Torres for up to 55 million quid, which I'm amazed why they found that money. Maybe got new backers as well, who knows. But if you look at his goal scoring record at Arsenal, it's not a bad one. He scored in his 3.5 seasons here. He scored 68 goals in 128. And this guy is absolutely brilliant on his day. When he's on it, he's on it. He scores some cracking goals. But sometimes, in my opinion, he goes missing, which is very frustrating. And when Rich comes on, you have more to say about that. I mean, he's, you know, he just goes hard in big games. And his goal scoring record's not been fantastic this season. That's because it's been dropped. If you're looking at it over his years, he played for St. Etienne. He scored 35 goals in 73 appearances for the French side between 2011 and 2013. Then being linked with him for around about £18 million. But we wasted so much time. Borussia Dortmund came in for him and offered him the money that St. Etienne wanted. And he had spent 5 seasons of the German Bundesliga club. and he scored 98 goals in 144 appearances, which is a fantastic record. And listen, Paul said before, his best days was at Dortmund, whereas at Arsenal sort of thing, he cost him a lot of money. It cost around 55 million quid. And I thought that was fantastic business by Dortmund to freeze that money from Arsenal. And like I said earlier, 68 goals in 28. I like his movement. I mean, his work rate is on it. But like I said before, his attitude, I mean, he can cause a lot of disruptors in the dressing room as well. But he's splitting the fans, and he also split the pundits as well. And it is a shame because his attitude, like I said, is all wrong. Yeah, sometimes I'm right. Read his comments by the way. Thanks for that, Chip. I believe it when I see it. Absolutely, mate. I mean, I've got to come on to that one in a minute. After John from Welsh Wells, that's from Gianni. And Liverpool Chelsea, exciting game to watch without Lukaku. I have my point on him in a minute. After to Sheila Buchanan, and depends off the player. Arsenal want red short-term loan. I heard there was a tattoo missed training for, well, as it becomes training late. By the way, it'd be a loan deal up to the end of the season. And if he stays beyond the loan deal, he's going to cost £20 million. For a 32 come on 33, would you fork out 20 odd million pounds? Well, of course, man, you fork out 22 million for Ronaldo when he's 36. Then I think Arsenal want that kind of money. The wage is going to be a big problem as well, by the way. He is on £350,000 a week. Yeah. Now, before he signed a new deal, it was electric. It was absolutely fantastic. But since he signed that deal, he has not been the same player. And he's put money before his future. What else can I say? I only want a player who's going to score goals week in, week out. But obviously, he's not been the same player. But would you take Aubameyang? Would you take him right away? I mean, some say yes, some say no. I'm going to get people seeing that he's better than what we've got. That's true. But he's going to deliver every single week. That's the thing. And should we go for someone else? So he's going to come in, someone younger, and hit the ground running. I mean, with Aubameyang, listen, he's got Premier League experience, lots of it. And I think it's ideal, someone with Premier League experience. But this guy is an elite striker when he is on it. And got Johnny, it depends on the player. Also, read short term, I think I read that as well. On to Toon News, Atletico Madrid for political warning shot on Kieran to Newcastle. And Chelsea, he's starting against for Atletico Madrid today, from what I'm hearing. After to Carlos, hope you're fine. After to Tom, would you take Aubameyang? I would on loan, but other than that, that is it. That's it. I wouldn't go beyond that, guys. I wouldn't do it, Tom. I wouldn't do it. You know, because 6 months might revive his career. And another thing is, he's off to the African Cup of Nations as well. So he's going to miss a chunk of that as well. Would you believe that? I mean, you seem to go for players who are injured, or we seem to go for players who are, just go for the African Cup of Nations. Here's my guy, Richard. He's going to come in now. Good afternoon, Richard.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm fine. Thank you for coming on, Leoton. How's things with you?
No worries at all. You're well. Congratulations on your 1,500 subscribers. Brilliant stuff.
Thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much. And we appreciate a happy new year to you, by the way. And
yeah, and you, mate. Yeah, all the best 2022.
Thank you very much indeed. I mean, your team is on fire at the minute. Okay, you lost the game yesterday, but you got robbed from a penalty yesterday, and that turned the game on its head.
Yeah, I mean, we did play really well. I mean, that's probably the best we've played against the top side for a few years, actually, to be honest. And it was a really good performance, and it was disappointing the way we lost the game. I didn't feel we deserved to lose, but unfortunately, sometimes in football it happens. And yeah, the penalty was soft, shall we say, and the one that we maybe could have got earlier was just as soft, and we never got it. So we seem to come out on the wrong side of it a little bit. But at the end of the day, the ultimate thing for me was to put in a performance like that against a team as good as Man City. That shows that we're finally heading in the right direction. We've had a couple of years where we've been maybe treading water a little bit, and finally it looks as though things are falling into place. I just feel as though our problem at the minute is we don't have the strength in depth if we've got 1 or 2 injuries in key players, we've got Thomas Partey out of the African Cup of Nations now, and I just feel as though if we have 1 or 2 injuries at that time, we're going to maybe struggle. So our first 11 is brilliant now. You can see that they've settled in together. They know what they're doing. The plans are working. It's just that below that, I feel as though we're maybe lacking a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully January we can get 1 or 2 in, even if it's loans, and obviously there may be one particular player going out, as I know that you're interested in at the moment. So we could talk about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They call the youth project. That's what we call your club, youth project.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is, really, isn't it? I suppose, but it's working at the moment pretty well.
It certainly is. It certainly is, man. And like I said to you guys earlier on, my membership is open and up and running. If you want to join as a member, I've got 11 so far. It's only 99p. So please consider becoming a member, as well as you want to donate as well. And yeah, I mean, like I said about Aubameyang then, I mean, according to reports, he's been linked with us, according to the Daily Mirror and the Mail Online, and it's gone on left you the deal. I mean, it's going to be a loan deal up to the end of the season, and then it'll be 20 million to take on permanent. I mean, do you think Arsenal will allow that to happen? Do you think he'll end us out on loan, or do you think there's a place for him still, even though he's been stripped off his captaincy?
I mean, to be honest, I feel he's probably played his last game for Arsenal. I mean, Arteta's shown in the past with Ozil, with Guendouzi, once he falls out with a player or once they have issues, it's very rare that a player's going to come back from that. So I think he's gone. Honestly do. I think he's played his last game for Arsenal, and whether or not what Arsenal are going to probably try and do is get money in for him. Obviously, he's still under contract. It's a big contract that he's still on. So obviously we can get money for him if someone's willing to pay. That's the issue, isn't it? Because he's had these issues before, didn't he? At Dortmund, he caused a few problems to get out of the club. It looks like he's doing similar things at Arsenal. You have to question his attitude a little bit maybe now. But I guess, Newcastle are in need of someone who can score goals. And there's no doubt that he can score goals in the Premier League. He's proven it. I know he's had a difficult year or year and a half at Arsenal, one reason or another, his illness that he's had, his mother had a few problems and stuff. But ultimately, he can score goals in the Premier League. And that's what Newcastle need. If you're going to stay up, get yourself out of trouble, he's the sort of player that would probably do a great job for you guys. But would Arsenal want to let him go on loan with the option to buy, bearing in mind if you guys did go down, you probably then wouldn't buy him, or he wouldn't go to Newcastle in the Championship, would he? Probably you wouldn't sign a permanent deal, probably, I would say. So that's the other issue, isn't it? Are Arsenal going to take that risk and say, we'll loan him to Newcastle with an option to buy it, and you do get relegated if that's unfortunately what happens? Then obviously you probably won't want to go to Newcastle, and then we're going to be stuck with him. And can we move him on to somewhere else, or can we sell him to somebody permanently now? That's the question that Arsenal have got to weigh up, I suppose, as well as anything else. But I don't think he's going to play for Arsenal again. I think that's him done. It's just what his next move is. Is it going to be this loan, which may suit him because he stays in England, or will Arsenal try and actually sell him now permanently, get him off the book, get him off the wage bill, and move on? And that may be what Arsenal want to try and do.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I mean, I think he's played his last game sort of thing as well. And it's a shame because he's a talented lad. And if you don't turn up 3 times by Arteta, I think you've done. And I think he knows that sort of thing. And I think he loves Arsenal, but unfortunately, he's going to have to accept his time it's done. So I've got time. So I've got 10 on the news, so I'll never miss one of your videos, John. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 2-0 the Brighton to latest. Oh, that's on the pressure, isn't he? Would you take Edison Cavani at Arsenal?
Oh, probably not. I think Arsenal's project at the moment is younger players, and I think if anything, if we're going to buy another striker, which I think we have to, whether it's now or in the summer, I think we're going to buy somebody younger. I think we're going to go for somebody maybe mid-20s or early 20s, a player like that fits in with the profile of everything else. So I don't think Cavani fits in with that. I mean, he could do a job, he'd score goals, but I don't think that's what Arsenal are looking at doing. We're looking at maybe getting offloading the older age group players and bringing in younger players. So personally for me, I would go for Ivan Toney. I think I know he used to play for you guys, didn't he, a few years back? Didn't really get many games, did he? So, but now I think he's proved himself at a lower level. He's come into the Premier League. He's playing well this season, maybe not scoring as many goals, but he's playing for Brentford. I think if he played for a team like Arsenal with creating more chances, I think he would be a 20-goal a season Premier League striker in the next year or so. And he would be the player I'd look at personally if we're going to buy somebody to replace Aubameyang, and possibly Lacazette, who's out of contract as well at the end of the season. So I'd look for someone like that a bit younger. So I think Cavani's past his sell-by date. And certainly what Arteta's trying to do at Arsenal is project youth, as you said. And I think that's Cavani would be ruled out on that basis.
Yeah, that's very, very true sort of thing. And it's a thing I can't say would go for younger players sort of thing. Cavani's been fantastic. It's just a shame starting late 20s, early 30s. He still would have been the business for any club that gets him, by the way. I've got Aubameyang. We definitely missed 2 Premier League games, potentially 4 Premier League games and the FA Cup game. That, with his crap attitude, not too keen to be honest with you, that's Malcolm. And I got John, so he's got a good point. Eddie wouldn't allow any player to give any attitude. I think Eddie would knock out any arrogance displayed from his players. I think he would as well. He'll be on the African Nations due to over a month or so. That's Gareth.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's not worth the money. He is too old. Fair enough. Matty Longstaff and Rodrigo Fioccia have to play for the loan spells Aberdeen Doncaster, respectively. Hi, Denmark. Just finally, before we go more about Bama. Also, Rob yesterday. I mean, that's from Tom. Rob yesterday, man. Wow. And
it's good to be honest, it's good to hear that from other fans, actually. I mean, I've had a lot of messages since yesterday from fans of all different clubs saying the same thing, that we were robbed. And yet, when they did Match of the Day last night, they seemed to be like, oh, no, they're the right decisions. I'm like, did you actually watch the same game? Because everybody else seems to think that we were robbed. And I think we were. But then I suppose I'm going to think that anyway. But it's good to see other fans of other clubs kind of seeing it as well. And I just felt as though at half-time, Arsenal were dominating that game, and the referee was told by somebody that Man City can't lose this game. Go out there and do better for Man City. And he clearly did, because the first half, the ref was pretty fair overall. Yes, he should have looked at the monitor for the first penalty, but other than that, I thought he did okay. The second half, he came out and it was like he almost was playing for Man City, wasn't he? He was getting in our players' way. He had yellow cards out for our players, the slightest little opportunity. No Man City player got booked until the second minute of stoppage time in that game. They went 92 minutes. We had about 5, and we didn't commit any more fouls than they did. And our fouls wasn't worse than their fouls. In fact, they got away with 2 or 3 quite bad fouls, I felt. There was that one on Martinelli when he wiped his legs away and he never even got booked. So very strange refereeing yesterday. And yeah, I thought we were robbed, but ultimately it's the Premier League and it happens to us and it happened to you guys as well. You wouldn't have got that penalty that Man City got yesterday. If we played you and that same thing happened, you wouldn't have got that penalty. No chance.
No chance. It's just conspiracy, mate. I mean, the referees don't want to give us any decisions because they want us to be relegated because the Premier League gave us a takeover to keep my mouth shut. And now they want us to be relegated. We should have had a lot of penalties this season.
Yeah, I've seen them. It's ridiculous. I mean, you guys probably get worse decisions than we do. And we seem to feel we get quite a lot of bad ones that go against us. But I mean, watching you guys, not just this season, really. I mean, I don't know how many penalties you've had in the last 2 or 3 seasons, 1 or 2 only in that whole time. It's madness. I say there's no way Newcastle get that penalty against us yesterday. No way at all.
Nah, chance. Absolutely no chance. We should have had a penalty at Liverpool. We should have got a penalty at a couple as well. But unfortunately, I mean, again, the Premier League look after the top 6. Sorry, Rich. I mean...
Well, no, you're probably right. But Arsenal aren't really included in that. They don't seem to be. We don't seem to get the decisions. I say we didn't get... You can guarantee that if Man City had the same incident in the first half for the penalty, they would have got that penalty. We didn't. And they got that penalty in the second half and against us. So we don't get those decisions.
No, exactly. And I feel sorry for you, mate, because you deserve it. You deserve to win that game because first half, you were fantastic. It's that time, it's just watching Barca sort of thing, you know what I mean, in their prime. But they say they got the best referees in the world, but unfortunately, they haven't. And people say it's the world's best league. Again, the referees are poor in this country, do you know what I mean? They need to get foreign referees as well, which I'll come into later on. Not sure anyone would be wanting to take all that because of his age, attitude, and more importantly, his wages. Great player, BBB of Dortmund at times of Arsenal, but 2022 is not the guy for us or for Arsenal. I'll show me the next one because Richard just loves Czech Republic. That's this sort of thing. So big up to him for that. Question is, why did Aubameyang get stripped from the captaincy and why is he not getting a game? For that was so one. Tom, I could give that answer straight away because he came out 3 times. He was late the last time. Attention down enough and stripped off his captaincy and said, right, you can't do this anymore. You're stripping the captaincy. I'm sorry. That is done. Am I right, Tom?
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, basically, yeah, he's broken club protocol a couple of times. He's been dropped from the squad before. He's done it again, and it's the right decision Arteta's made. And I think that Aubameyang will be out of the club in January somewhere, whether it's to you guys or somewhere else. I think he will be on his way.
Yeah, I think he will, 100%. Tom, I mean, they tells Johnson there, Tom Lunton in the season, and then Bayern was actually 20 million, according to the reports. see Anderson Sinclair moment last night posting the stream for 2 in the morning. I changed it very quickly. I thought at 2 a.m. stream. I changed it very, very quickly and made that 2 p.m. stream sort of thing. So I was quite lucky there sort of thing as well. So thanks to that, guys. Thanks to that, Toons. I really appreciate that sort of thing. And just got latest from Burns Jakes equalised against Leeds. So that is ones each. And a draw will be good today for us. We do not want Burnley to win that game if we can. Is Aubameyang, this is a question from Johnny, is Aubameyang hungry enough for a relegation fight? The answer is no, I think. Too unprofessional it seems. Do you think he's off for a relegation fight though, if he comes to Newcastle, Rich?
No, honestly, I don't. I mean, I was kind of thinking about this anyway. We're just obviously with January now, and Newcastle obviously got some money to spend. I think Newcastle have to be really, really clever in who they buy, because a lot of players will come to Newcastle for the money, but they're not the players that's going to be wanting to put in the work needed to fight a relegation battle. So I think what Newcastle need to do now, between now and the end of the season, is get the right type of players who are up for the fight, a relegation fight. Whether or not they're the best players or not is irrelevant. You just need players that's going to fight and give up everything to get Newcastle out of trouble. Aubameyang's not that player. No way at all. So they're the sort of players, Kieran Trippier, is he coming for the money? Is he coming because he wants to fight a relegation battle? Who knows? I'll be surprised if he wants to fight a relegation battle and play in the Championship. I'll be amazed if he does. So that's the problem Newcastle have got. They need to buy players, but they need to buy the players with the right characters that's actually going to be, up for the fight now. Survive this season, and then obviously next summer you can go out and buy these sort of players who maybe are in it for the money because they're quality players and they're going to improve the team and make you push on. But I think now it's important, I think, for Newcastle not to be tempted by players like Aubameyang who are not going to be up for that fight. Absolutely not. You want players that are up for it and know what it's like, totally know what's needed. He's never been in a relegation battle. He doesn't know what it's about. He won't be up for that at all.
No, definitely not. I want players going to come in and put their heart and soul into the team, right? Yeah. I want people going to commit 110%. People that will go get stuck in every single game, right? And also, I want people to have the attitude, a positive attitude. But again, right, I just don't know if he's got that. I don't think he has.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I think he would be happy probably coming to a Premier League team, maybe a mid-table, that he could stroll about, score a few goals, be the star, and that would be great. That's what Aubameyang wants. But when he's going to have to fight hard for every single ball, every single point now between now and the end of the season, he's not that sort of player. He's a bit of a luxury player, actually. He scores goals, but he'll score goals in a team playing well. He's not going to bring you anything else. If he's not getting chances created for him, he doesn't score goals on his own. He needs goals created for him. Newcastle have got some creative players. Obviously, St. Maximum, Ryan Fraser can put balls into the box and he may well score goals. But has he got the right attitude for a relegation battle? I don't think he has, personally.
Definitely not, and that's a shame because, like I said, I think he's a cracking player, sort of thing. But not for me. But that's why I take a loan there. He'd be the last resort for me. Where do you think Arsenal finish this season? I mean, they're fourth in it. They're fourth in a minute still, and
I think a lot of it's going to depend on maybe January who comes in, because I do think we're a little bit lacking depth-wise in certain positions. And I say 1 or 2 injuries, we could struggle. I mean, we've got a chance at the top 4. Whether we can do it or not, I'm not 100% convinced. I think we're probably going to end up 5th or 6th, maybe 6th, if I'm totally honest. I just feel Man United have got a stronger squad depth than we have. And I feel that maybe Tottenham now with Conte in charge are maybe slightly stronger than we are. But if we can certainly get some reinforcements in January, 1 or 2 players in certain positions, a new striker, for example, someone in midfield, then we've got a chance at the top 4, definitely. But can we do it? I don't know. It's tough. We've got a lot of tough games. Everyone has. It's a tough league, isn't it? And, have we improved enough from last season to sneak into that top 4? I don't know. We've got nothing else to play for, really. We've got the League Cup and the FA Cup, but nothing else. We're not in Europe, so that might help us. We'll see. But, I mean, it'd be lovely to get top 4, but I'm not totally convinced that we're quite ready yet. I think maybe next year's a year that we can really push on. I think this year it's just a matter of getting into Europe, whether that's in the top 6 or whether that's when winning the FA Cup, whatever it is. We need to get back in Europe this season. If it's top 4, even better. But for me, that will be over the expectations, I suppose, if you like. But we're there now. Why not? Why not try and keep going? To keep playing as we are. Who knows? Who knows where we'll end up? But I'd realistically say 5th or 6th would be realistic for me.
Fingers crossed on that one. Fingers crossed. I got Chibaz as well. He's a fantastic guy, sort of thing, and love him a bit. I would take Aubameyang, but I'll worry if we get him on loan, he does the same thing as Willock did. Scores, making an impact. They re-sign him permanently, and he looks interested. I don't want that from the club again. Touch on Joe Willock, and we scored 8 goals in 14 last season. This season, Richie, he's been a massive letdown. I mean, he has to score this season. He has not been the same player. I mean,
no.
What's the take on him? And according to Foxy as well, which I've got to come on to now, I mean, good to see other teams thinking the same way as us with the refs not doing their job. Rich says she's doing this. Do subscribe to me channel, Jock. I think you have anyway. Will you take Willock back off us with set 5?
No. I mean, to be fair, I'm quite surprised that it hasn't been working out for Joe Willock actually this season, because like you said, he came in last year on loan. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Scored all those goals, kept you in the league and looked like he would have a really good season. For some reason, I don't know why, it's not quite working for him, is it? I mean, he was never quite good enough, I didn't think, for Arsenal. I thought we had better players in midfield in his position, and I didn't think he was ever going to get a regular game. And it was the right thing for him to move, and it looked like a good move for him because of how the loan went. But I'm surprised it hasn't gone well for him this year. I really don't know why. I've watched Newcastle play quite a bit. I've seen him in the team, and it doesn't look quite as good as he did. And I'm not sure why. But to me, that's how he used to play for Arsenal. He'd have a good game here and there, but overall, he wasn't quite good enough. And is just where he is? Is he maybe not quite good enough for the level of the Premier League? I don't know. But no, I don't want him back for 5 million.
No. We should have added another 8 million on top and could have got Martin Odegaard as well. And then he was brilliant.
No, you're definitely not getting him.
No chance. He's improved that. He's improved that. The Odegaard.
Yeah.
A damn good player. Damn good player. I like him. We should get Gabagol or Jovic on loan this month. That is for Real Madrid with Flamengo respectively. I'm going to come on quickly about Lukaku in a minute, by the way. Right? But dude, hi guys, to you, my guy. You'll be okay. When I say referees that needs VAR, I mean to ensure the refs isn't favouring one team over and over. Yeah, I agree with you, John. Totally agree. Abigail must be cleaner off out of weapons. That's from Richard. Tom's got a good question. Nketiah looks a decent player for Arsenal. Is he going to move on in January, or he's out of contract at the end of the season?
He said he wants to play obviously more regular football. He's a goal scorer. I mean, he's got that hat trick against Sunderland, which I'm sure you would have enjoyed the other week in the Cup. And he can score goals. Is he quite good enough to play regularly in the Arsenal team in the Premier League? I don't think he is, probably. And I think a move is going to be the best thing for him, whether it's in January or at the end of the season. I think he can go for a free, can't he, at the end of the season? So, I think that's probably what he'll end up going. I think he will go. I don't think he'll sign a contract because I don't think Arsenal can give him the minutes that he wants to progress his career. I think he's a good player, and I think he will score goals in the Premier League for someone. Well, it could be you guys, maybe, who knows? But I think he would score goals in the Premier League. I just don't think he's going to get the opportunity to play at Arsenal, which maybe now, you never know. If Aubameyang goes, maybe between now and the end of the season, if we don't buy another striker, maybe he will get more minutes. And I do think he will score. And he scored 6 goals this season. He hardly plays. So, he can do it. But is he good enough overall? I'm not sure.
Sure, he's got the talent. He's got years ahead of him.
Yeah, but he needs to play. He needs to be playing now regularly, doesn't he? If he's going to really develop, and he's not getting those opportunities at Arsenal, and I'm not sure if he ever will. So maybe it's better for him if he does move. But at the moment, with our current situation, with obviously Aubameyang, the fact that we haven't really got any other backup strikers, maybe we need to keep him till the end of the season, and he will get game time, and then it's going to increase his value, I suppose, if and nothing else, isn't it? If he comes in, scores a few goals, maybe. But we'll see what happens. And I wish him well in his career because he's a nice lad, he's a good player, but I'm just not quite sure he's ever going to get to play regular for Arsenal as a centre forward. I just don't think he will.
Nah, it's a shame really because he's got better ones at the club as well. And again, sort of, I think he may need to move on, sort of thing. So Balogun, which I'll come to in a minute. Don't want Aubameyang anywhere near us. He has now got trouble. We had enough of that at the club over the last 14 years. That's from Toon's very, very passionate supporter he is as well. Regan Trippier apparently waiting to sign contract latest. That's from Toon News. And hi, John, news on Trippier. As I see, he's in the starting lineup for Atletico Madrid. He's in the starting lineup as well. And no new news of him so far. Trippier, wait to see if this other club's going to make a move on him. Now, if that is the case, I would just say, look, I'll give you a deadline till Thursday, Kieran, to sign first. Otherwise, we move on to other targets. Yeah, we will not be waiting about. We have done it in the past, and it ain't going to happen again. We're in a good position now to go for other targets as well. And Ketia seen similar situation with Balogun last season. Talking about Balogun, I mean, how good is Balogun? I mean, apparently he's one of the best young strikers you had for quite a long time.
He's been doing well in the under-23s, and you can tell he's much too good for that level. He's scoring goal after goal in there, but he's come into the first team a couple of occasions. He played recently in the Sunderland game, for example. He's played one or two other games. He hasn't quite looked good enough. Now, is that because he lacks the experience at the moment? He needs more games? Maybe that's the reason, and maybe he will become a great player. At the moment, he's too good for the under-23s. He's not quite good enough for the first team, and it's like, where do you stick him then? It's a difficult one. Maybe a loan's what he needs. Maybe he needs to go on loan, maybe to the Championship or possibly Premier League somewhere else. I'm not sure, but maybe that's what he needs. He needs maybe 6 months of playing regular football, competitive football, not kids football under 23s, actual men's football somewhere, Championship, I say, or lower end Premier League, and then maybe that'll help him develop. He's done it with other players in the past, and maybe that's what he needs. At the moment, he's in a little bit of a limbo situation because he's too good for that. He's not good enough for us. So, he needs to go somewhere and play football. And then, hopefully he can develop, because I think he's got potential to be a great player. He just he's lacking that experience at the minute. And that's what he needs to get, that experience. He's not going to play for Arsenal much. Let's be honest. He isn't going to get a regular game now. So he needs to be playing. I would loan him in January personally.
Yeah. If he's going to go on loan, in my opinion, I think he'd probably go to a Championship club sort of thing.
Yeah.
He does that sort of thing. He could shock someone and get the goals. That's going to get them up sort of thing. So like a West Brom, something like a Blackburn, if Burton Diaz moves on in January sort of thing, I think he'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
So I've got 30 people watching live. People, do hit the like button. Do subscribe if you already haven't done so. And also, please become a member as well. And, it's only 99p to join as a member. So 99p isn't much at all whatsoever. And if I do hit 100 members, I should be running a competition as well to win some prizes as well. So Rich, it's just Newcastle here at number 30.
Yeah, brilliant.
You can be a member, you can join in. If you win, then you can have an Arsenal one as well. But there you go. So it's all open, by the way. Will Arsenal be looking for a new striker in the window? And what sort of players will you be looking at? I mean, you said you're trying to get loan buy sort of thing. Who's you probably need a striker, I think, for one. And I think also as well, now Partey's away, probably need a cover in CDM to cover that sort of thing. Or you've got plenty of them as well. You've got Elneny. Is it
Elneny?
Elneny. That's it. Elneny's one of them. I'll pronounce that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need cover in midfield definitely, because you said Thomas Partey's away for the Cup of Nations. Also, as well, we're only one injury away from really struggling in that position. And I think we do need another striker as well. So if we can get to, I mean, I personally, the three players I would like Arsenal to sign, whether it's now or at the end of the season, that play in the Premier League already, is Yves Bissouma of Brighton in midfield. I think he's a fantastic player. He would be brilliant for us. I like that guy, Emmanuel Dennis at Watford, a goal-scoring wide player. He creates a lot of chances as well. I think he'd be a good signing for Arsenal. And as I said before, Ivan Toney up front. And if we were to get those three players, I think where Arsenal are at the moment, with those three players added to the squad, I think we could really push for the top four and possibly next season even challenge higher than that. But will we get those sort of players? No doubt we'll end up buying players that we've never heard of, which this summer went well. Tomiyasu, for example, fantastic signing. And if we get players like that, maybe that's good as well. But those three have got Premier League experience. And I think that's what we should be looking at. Younger, they're not young, but they're not too old. They're right in that right age bracket where the next 2 years, they're going to become at their peak. And that's the sort of player we should be looking at. I think if we was to get those three, if we got those three in January, I would say top four, we'd have a fantastic chance, even maybe top three possibly. If we get them in the summer, then we can build around that, and next year we can really push on. But they're the three players I'd love us to sign. I don't think we'll get all three of them in one go, and certainly not in January. We might get one if we're lucky. But I think a midfield is where we need to go at the minute, because I think we're going to be struggling there. Is Lokonga quite ready for regular games? I'm not sure. He's going to have to play when Partey goes. Xhaka, as we know, he can get sent off, and he's going to get suspensions and stuff, and then we're going to be lacking. So if that was to happen, if Xhaka gets sent off and Partey's gone, that's our two midfielders gone, and we need other players to come in. We'd only have Elneny and Lokonga. I'm not sure that's good enough to keep us ticking over in the top four. So I think that's the first. The first area is definitely midfield, then a striker, and then maybe a wide player who can score goals to add into the squad. That would be my three choices now. Maybe another centre-back cover, because if White and Gabriel don't play, we seem to be a little bit short. Rob Holding can do a job, but we're maybe a little bit short there as well, perhaps. But we can't be greedy, can we? We can't buy everybody. Not like you guys, you can just go and buy who you like. We have to be a bit more careful. So I'd go midfield now, maybe a loan possibly, and then maybe a striker as well if we can. But certainly in the summer, we need 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you just touched on Bazuma as well. I would love to have a Newcastle United sort of thing. If he can get him, that could be a part of the start to help out Jordan.
He's a game changer, isn't he? He's a game changer, that sort of player in midfield. He's a game changer for anyone.
He'd be absolutely right there. Game changer, that's what we need. We haven't quite got that yet. I mean, no disrespect for John Shelby, but he doesn't do it enough. But Bazuma just mops up everything every single time, and he's just calm in the midfield as well. He's the next thing to Kante as well. The next thing to
he is.
We're not asking Bazuma to score goals. We're not asking him to run down the wings and cross the bar. I just ask him to just mop up in midfield, and that's what he does, and that is what he does. And we've got Foxy as well from Colombia. Probably the best Arsenal performance for a while yesterday. Do you think that Arteta stay at home for the rest of the season now?
Funny enough, I said that yesterday, actually, that, we've been playing quite well recently, but we've always struggled against the big teams. Yesterday, Arteta's not there. Now, what Arteta does on the sidelines, he's always getting into the players, isn't he? He's shouting constantly at them. And I thought yesterday, maybe the players were a bit more relaxed because he wasn't there shouting at them, and they actually expressed themselves a lot better. And that was a great performance. And is that because Arteta wasn't there or not? We're not going to know. We'll have to see what happens when he's back. I mean, obviously, we want him to be back, but it was interesting that we played our best game of the season when Arteta wasn't on the sideline screaming at him all the time. And was that significant or not? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I quite like that guy who did it yesterday, actually. I thought he spoke well before the game. He spoke well after the game. He's very knowledgeable. He looks like he's a really great coach. And I liked what he did yesterday, actually. So fair play to him. And, if he can take on a little bit more responsibility, maybe help Arteta a bit more, maybe that's what we need. Because he did well yesterday, didn't he? He did a great job.
He did, absolutely. Maybe a future manager when Arteta moves on.
Possibly. I mean, he was at the Euros, wasn't he? Wasn't he with Wales, wasn't he? He was their assistant, wasn't he, I think, during the Euros last year.
I think he did.
So he's obviously he's a respected coach, isn't he? And he spoke really well, I thought. And he said everything that you'd want him to say about the performance, about the referee and everything. I just thought he was brilliant. He had 10 out of 10 performance from him yesterday, and it definitely.
I definitely never know. He might take the job when Arteta moves on. So
you don't know, maybe one day.
But Pep nearly put the cones out for, put the cones out for Arteta, didn't he?
Yeah.
He nearly did. He's done it before, though. All these people saying that he's putting cones out for Pep, sort of thing, water guard sort of thing, you know what I mean? Water guard? Well, I was all the guards, really, sort of thing, but there you go. And Big John, hope you're on, my guy. Happy you too, Russ. Big Luna.
Russ.
As well, and he also said, "Please take Oba as well."
We don't take him. We want some money.
Yeah, on loan. We check him out on loan, but you never know. We'll probably help you out as well. Hit the like button, people, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, Tom. Everton 2, Brighton 3. That game looks lit, doesn't it?
Brilliant.
What a game. Oh, Leeds
2-1 up.
Leeds 2-1 up, sort of thing. I think my screen has gone, and so what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to come out. And I have to come back in again because I think the screen somehow is zooming in, sort of thing, mate. So just give us 30 seconds.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll go out and then come back in again.
I'm sure he'll be back very shortly. We'll see where he's gone. Where he is. Look, back again.
Thank you very much indeed. It's not the system. It's just my screen went a bit flashed and then it came out again. I do apologise for you. Thank you very much indeed for your patience. And I've got Ginger as well. Leeds are winning by 2-1. That game looks a fantastic game. Like I said, seems a decent striker. I think Saka will score some goals for you, and also Edith Smith-Rowe. And I think coming to them in a minute. Yeah, agree. Also looks like they're playing a lot more feeling yesterday. Maybe Arteta on the side makes the players overthink too much, which is true. And he does overthink about his tactics as well by staying disciplined in the game and the team shape. I've got Truls from Norway. Hope you're well, mate. Hi, Rich as well. John's gone for lunch. That's a quick lunch, I must say. 2-1 up for Brentford, and Brentford's just gone 2-1 up. I think Gerrard won't be happy at that. I wouldn't take a straight shot. Julian for Aubameyang. Who would have thought that a few months ago? Well, would you swap Aubameyang for Julian?
At the moment, I would. He's playing well, Joe Linton, isn't he? He's been on fire the last few weeks, isn't he? So yeah, I'll definitely take him now.
You would in that someone in the midfield.
Yeah, I think he's playing really well, isn't he? He looked confident now, doesn't he? I think that was his problem before. He didn't look as though he was playing with confidence. Now he's just getting the ball, he's doing his thing, he's expressing himself, and he looks a great player. I mean, he works so hard as well, doesn't he? That's the other thing as well. And, you know, it's all very well being a great player, but for me, you've got to be able to work for the team, and he's doing that, isn't he? I mean, he's always worked hard, but now you can just see his confidence has just grown, and he's been a great player. He's probably been your best player for the last few games, isn't he, to be fair?
Yeah. He has indeed. I think he's been amazing. I thought the way I watched him, you would have thought he won 30 caps for Brazil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 40 million, he is playing like a 40 million pound player now because he's got a new position, Eddie Howe. He's turned his life around. I tell you what, Richard, this guy is absolutely brilliant. He really is.
No, he's been playing really well, fantastic.
Wonderful player. And why are we going for Diaz from Blackburn? Paid 20 million for him. He's a championship striker. But listen, so was Lee Madison, and he's in the England squad as well. So you got to put some respect and back in the name, but Aubameyang, Trippier will be 2 huge improvements in our squad. That's from Geordie. And everyone said hi to the chat. Any questions, Richard, do find away. And like Tom's done, Richard, who do you think will get relegated from the Premier League this season?
That's a good question, actually, isn't it? I mean, I was looking at the league table actually earlier on, and I think Norwich are down. I think that's pretty clear. I can't see them surviving. I think Watford probably going to drop in as well. And it may surprise a few people, but I actually think Brentford might drop back down as well. I think, you know, they had a great start, but I think teams have figured them out now, and they don't seem to have another way of playing. I think Leeds will probably survive. I think Burnley will probably survive because Dyche has done that every year. He knows what he's doing. Obviously, you guys, I think it might come down to you guys and Brentford, depending on how your transfer window goes. I think if you get the right players in January, I think you'll be fine. If you don't, if you maybe make the wrong signings and you maybe get some mercenaries who only come for the money, then that might be the difference. So I think it might be Brentford that might drop in, actually. I think it'll be Norwich. Perhaps the 3 that came up, actually, will end up being, won't it? Norwich, Watford and Brentford. It'd be a shame if that happened, but that's how I can see it going. You know, I just think Brentford are in a little bit of free fall. That they're not winning enough games anymore. You know, and I think Burnley will survive. I think Leeds will survive. And yeah, it might be you and Brentford maybe fighting it out. But if you have a good transfer window, you might pull away and be fine. But we'll have to see.
It all depends on the transfer window. You are right, and also depends who comes in, Richard. That is the most important. That's well said, by the way. Well said. I mean, I didn't. Brentford's going to be dropping in as well, but they're winning by 2-1, by the way. So they know they're going to get 35, 36 points to get in there. I got Neil as well. I mean, so look at the last one. Yeah, Neil, I thought the two were better prepared for this window. I thought something would have happened before now. It makes me feel like anticipation. Neil, we got to be patient, mate. We have got to be patient. And, you know, we're the 2nd of January, right? And there's a long window as well. And also, it's a tough window. It's not an easy window to deal with. So you've got to be so patient, and we just got to, like, hang fire. It'll come, yeah.
You've got the African Cup of Nations as well, don't forget. A lot of players are going to be away as well. So it's going to be it's going to be difficult to buy players in this January, I think. It's a difficult one. Obviously, Newcastle have to get some people in. So they've got to do something. But it's only the 2nd of January. I think there's plenty of time. And I'm sure by the end of the month, Newcastle would have got some deals done one way or the other, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess in the rumour that Newcastle's going to make a £27 million for Roma. Jolan Vera too could be a great sign if he comes. I like him. I mean, I watched him Fiorentina Roma. I like him. Plays in the midfield. He's tenacious. He tackles. He scores, and he takes brilliant penalties as well. But okay, he didn't have success at Aston Villa, but he's young. So when he comes back, he'll be more experienced there as well. So I think he'll be decent as well. And good morning to you, John. Happy New Year to you, Dean, as well from New Zealand. And Dean Duke is describing be a member for as low as 99p English money as well, or anyone else for that matter. Very too, never been a fan of penalties. He's brilliant, but in games he's average and did poor at Villa. That's because he's only young. Richard, what's your thoughts on Aaron Ramsdale? Are you looking for a new keeper? I doubt it in the window. I know you have Lennon on the bench. We need a new keeper as well. Need a backup keeper. Sorry.
I mean, Ramsdale's been brilliant. I mean, he's been one of the surprise signings of the season, hasn't he? He's been fantastic all the way through since we got him. And, you know, Leno, as you said, is on the bench now. He's a decent keeper as well. So at the moment, we've got two good keepers. I don't think Leno's going to want to hang around being a second choice. That could be our problem. If Leno decides he wants to leave, whether it's now or at the end of the season, then we are going to need another goalkeeper, because you can't rely on one goalkeeper all through the season, because you get injuries and stuff like that. And hopefully next year we'll be in Europe. So, yeah, if Leno stays and we can keep both of them two, brilliant. That's two fantastic goalkeepers. What a great situation. But I've got a feeling Leno may not want to stick around. He's at that sort of age when he's going to want to be playing regular football. So I think he might be off. And if he's off, we will need another goalkeeper as cover, certainly a second choice. It's difficult to buy a second choice goalkeeper, isn't it? Because a second choice goalkeeper, you want them to be good enough to play, but ultimately, if they're good enough to play, they want to play. They don't want to be second choice, do they? So you've got that dilemma. It's a difficult position to get a second choice. Any other position, you know you're going to get opportunities to play regularly because players get injured and you'll be a sub, you can come on. But if you're the sub goalie, you don't get to play much, do you? And it's a difficult position to fill. We've got two good ones at the minute, but will that last? I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, at the moment, I'm over the moon with our goalkeeping situation. Fantastic.
Oh, he's been brilliant, Andy Ramsdale, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Everyone's saying he's 20 goals. Everyone's saying, oh, you're doing the right thing. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to let him goals in.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, look at it, he's done brilliantly. Big up to Aaron, and he should be in the England squad, by the way. And I've got might play different on Eddie. Look at how Julian has done. He's been brilliantly, and they need players ASAP to get them into the system and so on. And we need another Theo Walcott, where he was great player in his early days at Arsenal. Yeah. And you can have Darlow.
No. We're all right. We're right in a minute. Unless Leno goes. Maybe if Leno goes, we might get him as a backup, maybe. I'm not sure. But no, not at the moment.
It'd be perfect. Now, this is the one, right, that, we had I've been on the show last week at Rumour Mill, right? Paul, Toon Review, absolutely fantastic guy. Yeah? And we asked him, would I take Aaron Ramsdale? For me, I will not take Ramsdale because there's dreadful injury record sort of thing. But would you, question for Chip as, would you recommend Aaron Ramsdale to us?
Aaron Ramsdale, yeah, I mean, obviously, he was a great player at Arsenal. I loved him. He's got some really important goals, 2 FA Cup final winning goals as well, you know, in his career at Arsenal. And yes, his injury record hasn't been great. That's a fact. And obviously, he's a lot older now as well. I'm sure he could come into Newcastle now, between now and the end of the season. He's the sort of player that would keep you up, isn't he? His quality and his experience would be vital. And if you could get that done, even if it was just a loan till the end of the season, that would be a great, I think, that because he's a professional guy, Aaron Ramsey. He isn't the sort of player that's going to come for the money and just, you know, mess around. He's a serious player. He'll play and he'll give 100% every game, regardless. So he would be a perfect player to get in. But whether you can do that or not, I don't know. I don't know what his situation is in Italy at the minute. I know he's not maybe gone as well over there as he hopes it would. So I think he'd be up for a move, maybe back to England. So yeah, I would recommend him definitely. I think he would be that's the sort of player that you need. Someone like that who's going to give 100%, and he's a sort of player for a relegation battle. He'd be up for that. And you know, he plays for Wales. Let's be honest, he's used to being the underdog, if you like, and he's always given 100% for Wales. So I think he'd be perfect. Honestly, perfect player for you. He'd score goals. He'd drive you forward from midfield. Brilliant.
Yeah, the thing is, my concern is this injury record.
That would be a one.
We need someone who's going to come in now, hit the ground running. Excuse me. And he's on £400,000 a week, and I'll be worried about that as well. The bottom line is, I mean, people sitting on the fence on this guy, and people saying that no, we don't want him because there's injuries, sort of thing. It's like Dembele for Barcelona.
He has had injuries.
Brilliant. That is the thing. Get rid of the injury, sort of thing. Brilliant. But I've got focus to why do we hear about 0 players Tomiyasu, where he's been brilliant so this season? Notice Celta now really in the Japanese market too. Getting players is ridiculously cheap. Tomiyasu watches for Bologna. This guy is brilliant.
I mean, you probably saw a lot more of him than me. I know you follow Italian football. And you know, I'd never really heard of him when we signed him, and I'm thinking, who's this guy? But he has been. I mean, I had a show on my channel last week, sort of going back on the year, and for me, he got voted as a signing of the year for Arsenal. I just think he's been amazing. You know, considering he came from, you know, the lower end of the Italian league, if you like, he wasn't really heard of. He's come into the Premier League straight away from day one. He's just been fantastic. Every single game, consistent. He can defend. He's good in the air. He's decent on the ball. He's a great you know, he wins the ball. He's a great on the deck as well. He can tackle. He's just been brilliant. He's been a revelation, actually. And yeah, I mean, whether the Japanese market now is going to open up, a lot more clubs are maybe going to be looking there because we got him pretty cheap. And I think he's the signing of the season by an absolute mile. I don't think anybody can come near him for the money that we paid for him and his consistent performances. You know, he plays every minute of every game. He was injured recently. He missed a game the other week, but against Norwich. But other than that, he's played every single minute of every game. And yesterday against Man City, he was absolutely brilliant. He didn't give Sterling a kick, did he? All game, he didn't give Sterling a kick. He was absolutely fantastic. What a signing he's been.
Wow.
Brilliant. And yeah, he isn't getting enough credit in the media. I totally agree. Sky aren't going to give him credit because Sky discredited him before he'd even signed. So they're not going to give him credit now, are they? And nobody's talking about him. Match of the Day don't highlight him at the end of the games every week. They highlight other players. He never gets a mention. But to me, he's absolutely fantastic. I can't believe how good he is because I've never even heard of him. So what a great signing he's been. 16 million. I mean, what more can you want? And he does need more praise. I agree with Foxy there. The media needs to start giving him credit. But maybe it's better that they don't in a way because other people may not be aware of exactly how good he is.
Yeah, and also you've got players like Reece James getting players, Ben Chilwell's getting players, right? I mean, in fact, I think Ben Saka probably get more players than Tommy Yasu as well. Tommy Yasu, in my opinion, I think he's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And I tell you what, the moment you got him, I said, what a player you have got. And I hope that you treat him well. And I tell you what, if he fits in, it'd be amazing. And talking about Japanese football, right? I mean, we had a player called Muto, right? And he just didn't get a chance. He didn't get a chance, which is a shame because his work rate is absolutely brilliant. I mean, he just hustled that game against Man United, right? When he scored a second goal, which put us 2-0 up. He ran United riot that day. Yeah, he absolutely destroyed him. And then Rafa didn't pick him, hardly picked him again. It's just a shame. But Muto, I would have loved to have him because give him a chance, sort of thing, yeah? And I think he was doing brilliant. I got Ramsey is better than what we have, but you never know, like most players, unless they are world class. Yeah, but if he gets rid of the injury sort of thing, boom, that'd be fantastic. I got experience, fair enough. Would you say that ASM similar to Carl Zoll and Bergkamp was at Arsenal good year?
I mean, Bergkamp was. I don't think any player compares to Bergkamp. I mean, there's nobody since Bergkamp that's anywhere near that. I mean, I like ASM. I think he's a great player. I think he reminds me a little bit of when Ronaldo first came to Manchester United. The way he gets on the ball, he wants to just run, make things happen. And I think he's a great player, ASM. I certainly wouldn't compare him to Bergkamp. I mean, Cazorla, I don't know. I think Cazorla was more of a team player. I think ASM's a very individual player, isn't he? And he's great to watch. He's exciting. But I think Cazorla was more of a team player. And Dennis Bergkamp was just on a different planet to everybody else that's ever played football, as far as I'm concerned. I've got the shirt behind me and stuff like that. So I wouldn't compare anybody to Don't try and compare ASM to Bergkamp because it's just not the right comparison to make. ASM's a great player as he is. He's brilliant. But he's never ever going to be a Dennis Bergkamp, let's be honest.
Not a chance. Dennis Bergkamp, he's one of the best players in the Premier League. He's one of those players that decorated the club, the Premier League. Oh my God, he's brilliant. What he literally is just a joy to watch. That goal against us back in 2002, he absolutely tore Dabasas apart, did he?
Yeah, he did. That was a great goal.
Don't remind us fans that as well. We don't forget that ever. So, Richard, I was going to say for Tom, who do you think make the top 4 this season, in your opinion?
Well, I think obviously Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea are pretty much nailed on for the 3. I think the 4th place, it's open. I think you've got obviously Arsenal in there with a shout, Man United, Tottenham, and West Ham, and it's going to be one of those 4, and that's going to be the next 4 places. That's the top 7, isn't it? It's just which one of those 4 teams is going to get into that 4th place. At the moment, we're in there, but teams behind us got games in hand who can catch us. It's going to be tough. If I had to pick one now, I would probably go with Tottenham. I think Conte has got that experience. You know, they haven't lost yet. He's got a little bit of momentum. Maybe I don't want Tottenham to get in there ahead of us, but maybe if I had to pick one right now, I'd probably go for them. They've got that more experienced squad. They've got a more experienced manager who's done it before. So you've got to maybe favour them. And obviously, when you look at the points, there's nothing in it. So, you know, you would imagine in the second half of the season, they're going to get more points than they've got in the first half of the season. You know, Man United, I think, will be in there as well. West Ham, I think the Europa League might interfere with West Ham's chances. Their squad's not deep enough. I think that's going to help, probably hinder them. So it's probably going to come down to Arsenal, Tottenham and Man U, ultimately for 4th. I don't know. Hopefully we can do it. You know, if we get a couple in January, maybe. But if I had to pick now, I'd probably go Tottenham just on the manager and the experience that they've got in their squad.
Yeah, and if Harry Kane's on fire, sort of thing,
Yeah, exactly. He's not scored many goals this season, so he's going to start scoring, isn't he? Because he's going to end up with 15 goals, 20 goals. So you'd imagine he's going to get a load in the second half of the season, and that could be the difference, maybe. But who knows? I mean, you know, we've got a slight advantage at the moment. If we can hold on to it, you never know. But I just feel they've got more experience in their squad. And obviously, they've got a really good, as much as it pains me to say it, they've got a really good coach they have, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you must be gutted and can't just go like that.
Yeah, it's a tough one to take because you know he's good and you know the potential there. Tottenham have got some good players. We know that, and you know if he can get more out of them as a group, which he seems to be doing, then certainly than the last couple of managers have done, then that's a worrying sign, isn't it? Because you know the last thing we want is Tottenham to become good. I mean, they did pretty well under Pochettino, but they never quite won a trophy. Conte isn't going to just settle for being second or runners up, is he? Conte is a winner. And he's done it before. He's won the Premier League. He's won lots of other trophies, and that is a worry. But you know, we'll see what happens. Let's hope that you know we're on the rise as well. So let's hope we can just get there ahead of them. Let's see.
Absolutely. But about Louis' comments as well, I'd rather the media stay silent on the players because if they will milk and overhype the players,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think that's an insult on Bergkamp. There's good and there's elite. Elite is high in that elite list. He's got to be.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
You've got to score that first goal against us in James. That's a ridiculous piece of skill there. Yeah. I've got Jim Trippier having talks today, John. He's playing for Atletico, I think this. I asked the question. That's what I was told. Good source, yeah. Only that sources, by the way. Now I've burned my dinner listening to YouTube's good show. Sorry, mate, but you know, thanks for that anyway, mate. And I've got United fan for Cyril. Brentford just came from behind to beat Villa. This league is getting juicy, John.
Wow. Yeah.
There was Patrick Groves, Everton as well. I think Everton drew 3 each, didn't they, against Brighton? Was it 3? Yeah, 3 each, I think it was as well. But just real quickly going to Lukaku as well. I mean, I don't know what he's done. What an absolute idiot, man. What he did, I don't know if you listened to it. He did an interview with Sky Italia. Yeah. And basically, behind Chelsea's back, and he just saying that he's not happy with the situation at Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea paid £96 million for the guy. Then he goes out to Sky Media, and he also said as well that he's asked Lautaro Martinez saying, "Hey, you die for the guy," etc. Then he was asked, "We wonder what happened at Chelsea." He said, "No. Lautaro, stay." He goes, "I'm coming back." What's your take on that for Lukaku? And he's dropped today, by the way.
I mean, it's silly, isn't it? Really, ultimately, you've got to, Chelsea pay his wages, and he's got to be a little bit clever, isn't he? Ultimately, you can't really come out. I know sometimes players are interviewed and the questions are put to them in a certain way to get certain answers, so it makes a story. And you have to bear that in mind as well. But he did make those comments. We've all seen it. We've seen the interview. So it's not, it wasn't like he didn't make them. So it is. Yeah, he's been a bit silly, hasn't he? He's not helped himself, and he's been left out of the squad on the back of that as well, which you can understand why. I'm surprised he's not been playing more because Chelsea don't really have a goal scorer, do they? That's the one thing that they lack. Yeah. And Lukaku's going to score goals in the Premier League. He scores goals. Mm-hmm. He's one of the best goal scorers in the Premier League history, isn't he? Look at all the clubs he's played for. He always scores goals. Even at Man United, didn't work out for him. He still scored 20 goals a season, didn't he? So, I'm not quite sure why he's not playing. I know he's had injuries and stuff, but he should have played more for Chelsea. And you saw the impact he made when he came on against Aston Villa, when he scored within 5 minutes of coming on, turned that game so that they won. They probably wouldn't have won that game without him. So you can see what an important player he is. So for him to do that now, in the position that Chelsea are in, when they need to win games, they need to close that gap on Man City to try and win the league. Crazy, really. I mean, I know. I say it may have been set up a little bit in the interview and stuff, but he's not done himself any favours, has he? And will he stay at Chelsea now? Will they just get rid of him? Who knows? I mean, they paid a lot of money for him. They're never going to get that much again, are they? So they're going to lose money. I don't know. It's a mad situation. I mean, I'd take him at Arsenal, Lukaku, 100%.
Yeah, I would. If you get him sort of thing, wow, that'd be a turn-up point. That'd be a major turn-up point as well. Yeah. Wow. Just go fly as quickly as well for to Kaku. And now Marega is linked again. We're going to have a Titanic group of players. They've all came. It's like the 1,500 player we linked to, sort of thing. So all the fans need to be patient as well, sort of thing. Whoever it be will be. What are your thoughts on Big Arteta so far? I know there's a few Arsenal fans who wasn't that keen on him when he came to Arsenal. Elite project. That's what I see. Elite project. That's from Tom. What's your take on him? I mean, for the people who have been listening to.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at the beginning, I didn't think he was the right man that we needed. I thought we needed a more experienced coach, and overall, he'd struggled. Let's be honest. I mean, yes, he won the FA Cup in that first season, which was great. We had a couple of great performances against City in the semi-final, Chelsea in the final, and you thought maybe he's building something. Then we've had, disappointing season last year in the league. 8th place wasn't really good enough. The Europa League, we blew that as well, the semi-final. And I didn't feel I thought he was lucky to keep his job, actually, at the end of last season, the way that the season had gone. I thought he was really lucky. He's been given money, the players he wanted in the summer. We had a terrible start and you're thinking, what's going on? But to be fair, the last 2 or 3 months, he's turned it round. He's got the young players he wanted. He's got them playing the way he wants them to play. And at the moment, you can't criticise him. Overall, I'm not convinced he's the right man to take the club forward, if I'm honest. I'm not sure we can get to the real top level with him as the manager, because I still think he lacks experience. I think his man management of certain players hasn't been great. But at the moment, it's going well. And obviously, we've got a great chance. We're in a semi-final coming up this week. The League Cup, the FA Cup starts this week. We're in the top 4. At the moment, this season's gone a lot better than anyone could have hoped for. And obviously, Arteta has been a big reason for that. So, I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans who maybe have doubted him, like myself, are starting to think, okay, he's doing well. He needs the time. Let's give him the time and see where we can take it. I'm not convinced 100% yet that he's the man to take us to that next level. If he can get us back into Europe, if he can get us in the Champions League, he's done a great job. And, if we can keep playing football as we did yesterday and as we have done in the last 2 or 3 weeks, then brilliant. I felt Arsenal were a little bit dull to watch for quite a long time under Arteta. And the last 6 weeks or so, we're better to watch. It's exciting to watch good football. We're playing great football on the front foot. We're attacking. We're scoring goals, and it's fantastic. And that's all we want to see. We want to see an Arsenal team that's going to entertain us. We're used to that good football, and if we can win games and get back into Europe and challenge, then that's brilliant. And at the moment, Arteta's proving people wrong, and that's great to see. I'm glad he's proving me wrong. I wanted him out at the end of last season, 100%. I didn't want him to still be at the club, and I think he's lucky that he still is. But he's turned it round, and I'm glad he's proving me wrong, and I hope he continues to. And I hope we can win the Premier League under him as manager. That'd be fantastic, and that would be great. All the people that doubted him, we'd have to put our hands up and say, "Fair enough, you've done it." But I still think he's got work to do. He still needs a bit more to convince everybody. But he's going in the right direction, and a long way to continue.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's hope he does it, sort of thing. Because he loves to be proved wrong, and really be proved wrong, sort of thing. Every year has we eaten humble pie, and I love to be proved wrong in any situation. There you go. As well. Lukaku, when he turned on United, we were the bad guys. We did turn on United. Now Lukaku is at Chelsea. He's doing the same thing. He is always a victim. Boot him out in the Premier League altogether. I totally agree. And he owes to add as well. Lukaku's ready to give out the password of Tuchel's smartphone. Not a right idea, baby. Then the latest scores: Brentford 2, Villa 1, Everton 2, Brighton 3. Rafa's on the pressure. Leeds 3, Burnley 1. Tasso is out first today. They're kicking the ball. And now I've got Wendy, the lovely Wendy. Hi to Wendy. Hope you're okay, pet. Leeds 3, Burnley 1. Again, we're the biggest winners. We haven't kicked off, really, haven't we? So there you go. We need defenders and strikers and midfielders will do till summer. They will be higher on the pitch, a quality defence. I've got Foxy as well. What's your take on Pepe? Wherever I watched him at Lille, he was playing like the next big superstar, and hasn't really worked out for Arsenal. It is in the high price tag that put push on him that he can handle. I would take him all day long. I would take Pepe. If you want Pepe away, I'd take Pepe, Richard.
The thing with Pepe is he's very, very hit and miss. He can be really, really good. And this is just within a game. I've not seen him have a consistent game for 90 minutes since he's been at Arsenal. He does brilliant things in games. And then other times, and in that same game, he'll then do some really stupid things. He'll fall over the ball, trip over his feet. And you want to see more consistency from him. Obviously, he's not quite fitting into Arteta's plan. The way Arteta wants to play doesn't fit. He doesn't fit in with that. Saka's playing in that same position now, and Saka's just absolutely smashing it. You can't leave Saka out for Pepe. Absolutely no chance. So Pepe's got to struggle to get game time. He had a okay game against Sunderland in the League Cup. He may well play the semi-final against Liverpool coming up, possibly, because he's not in the Premier League team. I would expect him to play there. I'm not quite sure it's worked out for him at Arsenal. Big price tag hasn't helped, obviously. I would swap him for ASM straight away tomorrow. We can do that if you want.
What's up, ASM for Pepe? Wow. That is, I don't know what the viewers are thinking of. What do you think, guys? Should you do some ASM for Pepe? Leave in the live comments in them, guys. Leave your comments down below as well. That's Richard's question of the week. Do you think the Trippier deal will go through with him starting today? I think it will. We need to be patient. I think it'll be a done deal at some stage. Happy New Year to you, Jules, as well, from us. Great show today. Thanks so much, Tom. Richard, do you think Arsenal will win a major trophy soon under Arteta?
Well, we won the FA Cup. That's a major trophy. So, but will we win another one? Yeah, I think we will. I think, we've got a chance in both the cups this season without being in Europe. Will we win the Premier League under Arteta? I'm not sure. You saw little glimpses yesterday, the way we played against Manchester City, that something might be happening at Arsenal in the next 2 or 3 years, possibly. We may be building towards that. So, yeah, I think we will. I think Arteta's going to, whether it's under Arteta, but I do think we will be winning major trophies again very soon, yeah. Yeah,
I think so. I think Arteta will do well. You may as well keep him now because, I think your board's been very patient with this guy.
Yeah,
so they could have got rid of him after the Brentford game.
Yeah.
They could have got rid of him after the Man City game. But, I think Arsenal board sounds really good to me, sort of, in my opinion. But let's hope if it's going to win the major trophy, it'll be with Arteta. I don't think Arteta will ever be the right guy. He can't manage the big talents. Look at Aubameyang, Pepe, Heki, B, Laka, and talents to come to Arsenal and then fade. Yes, the young players do well and then fade. That's unsettled. United fan. What do you think of Southampton? Hattusel complained about the postponed game. I'll come to that one in a minute. I'll read the rest of the comments as well. Lukaku ain't in Chelsea side today. What a surprise. That's in Carlos. Not surprised there. I think Wenger had the best squads and money to throw at the end. But Arteta, I think in time we will see. And how do you feel about always still mixed emotions, Phil? You have too much of an ego. That's in Jamie. But going back to Truls, which I think is a brilliant question. And Rapper as well. What do you think of Hattusel complaining about the postponed match? What's your take on it, mate?
I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's been quite a lot of games postponed over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's made the league a little bit imbalanced. Some teams are getting more of a break over Christmas. Other teams are playing every couple of days. It's not really a fair situation. And that's not Newcastle's fault. That's just the Premier League should have stepped in and done something at the beginning, either cancelled all the games for 2 weeks or all the games have got to be played. They can't allow this situation to go. Some teams get games called off, some teams don't. They're saying it's due to COVID, it's due to injuries as well. And it's like, well, no, injuries have never been an issue before. If you've got injuries, it's tough luck. You have to put a team out. And I think that teams maybe should have had the same rule for everybody at the start. They should have said either every game gets played regardless. If you've got to play your under 15s, it doesn't matter, or we're going to cancel all the games. That they've left themselves open to criticism, the Premier League and all the clubs, because it's easy now for people to look at it and say, well, Newcastle don't want to play because they've got Wilson and ASM injured, so they want to call the game off. And you can use COVID as an excuse. No one's going to question it, and it's done. I don't think that's what's happening. I think it's genuine. There's cases of COVID, and they haven't got enough players to play, and that's fair enough. Other teams have done it. We haven't actually called a game off. We had the Wolves game called off because Wolves had COVID. We've played all their games. Man City have played all their games. Some other clubs have. Others have been more hit, and maybe they haven't got as big a squads and stuff like that. But the problem is the rules of the Premier League. They should have brought a rule in straight away and said either all the games get played or they all get cancelled. You can't have the situation where games are getting cancelled the last minute, day before. There's preparations. Fans are making plans to go to the games, this, that, and the other. Loads of other stuff goes on that needs to be sorted out. You've obviously got TV as well. Games are on TV and then they're called off, and then that's a problem. So the Premier League have caused the problem in themselves by not dealing with it at the beginning. They've let it go on, and now it's just open to problems because other teams now, it's not just Newcastle, is it? I mean, Tottenham didn't play 3 or 4 games. Burnley didn't play 3 or 4 games. It's happened throughout the Premier League. Most teams have had games. In fact, every team's had at least one game cancelled, I think, apart from Man City. I don't think they have, but I think everybody else has at least one game in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, no, it's not, I don't think the Southampton manager should be criticising Newcastle for it because it's not Newcastle's fault. The Southampton manager should direct that at the Premier League. Other managers have looked at the Premier League and said that meeting that they had was a waste of time. That's the problem, not any individual club. And if clubs are taking advantage of the situation because they've got injuries and, we've got some COVID, we've got some injuries, let's get the game off. You can't blame them for doing that because there's so much at stake, isn't there? So much money at stake in the Premier League. So, of course, teams are going to want not to play if they feel as their chances of winning have been reduced by the players they've got out. Of course, But ultimately, the Premier League shouldn't allow that to happen in the first place, and that's where the problem is. So, Southampton managers shouldn't be criticising Newcastle; he should be criticising the Premier League.
I have to agree with you there, sort of thing. And also, Southampton fans need to understand as well. But you're right. I mean, don't cuss at Newcastle, cuss at the Premier League. But I think that's also clarity what's going on. We're still waiting for that clarity sort of thing. And just we have to see what happens on that. It may come out in a couple more days. Who knows? I found that quickly as well, like 10 minutes or so, because I know you're a busy guy. Richard, that Emil Smith-Rowe looks a decent player. Did he came through the academy? I think he did.
Yeah, he did come through the academy. Yeah, him and Saka are the two main ones in the team at the moment that have come through our academy. I mean, they're brilliant, a pair of them. I mean, they've carried our team, they're both 20, 21 years old, young players that have carried the team for a year now, the pair of them. Brilliant players. They're going to be the future of England as well. And it's brilliant to see young players like that. It's great from an Arsenal perspective to see two young players come through our academy system from when they were kids, to be playing in the Premier League, to be playing for England as well. I mean, Saka's influence at the Euros was fantastic. Emil Smith-Rowe's just getting into the England team now. I think they'll both play in the World Cup next year, and it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting times. We've got some other great young players as well coming through. Charlie Patino scored on his debut against Sunderland. He's another one for the future. Look out for him. He's going to be a great player as well. We could have 4 or 5 in our first team in the next couple of years that's come through our academy. Balogun's another one who's on the brink, maybe, a bit more experience for him. So, yeah, it's good time. The academy system at Arsenal has been the one thing that's worked really well over the last couple of years. Everything else seems to have fallen apart, but the academy system has been strong. And now we're getting to see the fruits of that now in the first team, which is brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got some players coming through as well through the academy, and you've got a fantastic academy. London Corney, everyone's happy, and they've got a good coach, so that's what we need in the future, sort of thing. But we're not going to catch up with you yet. Probably in the next 10 years. Who knows?
I think it won't take long with the money you've got.
Exactly. Get the right ones in, and everyone will be fine. Just about some of the players we have been linked with so far, keep them aware. Although we are hardly in a position to be picky right now, that's a fair comment. Yeah. Do you wish we were still playing Highbury? The tight pitch seems to really suit Arsenal, plus the lack of atmosphere at Emirates. Although yesterday seems louder than usual, would you go back to the Emirates Highbury?
Yeah, I mean, Highbury, we lost the soul of the club when we moved out of Highbury, and we couldn't stay there because we couldn't expand it enough because there was all houses around it, listed buildings, the 2 stands and stuff, and we were in a difficult situation. We couldn't stay in a 38,000 capacity stadium to enable the club to grow. We had to move, and that was a shame. But yeah, I would go back to Highbury tomorrow. I wish we'd never moved, and I think had we stayed at Highbury at that time with the team that we had, we would have had more money because the money didn't go into the stadium. We would have been able to improve that team. And I think we could have, we'd have been in a lot stronger situation over the last 10 years than we have been. But maybe eventually it will prove to be a good decision by the club financially. Obviously we're selling more tickets now. We've got more match day revenue, and maybe eventually that will pay off. And maybe we will be one of the top clubs in Europe in the future, and it could be because we moved stadium. But at the moment, because it's been a difficult time since we moved, we've not won the league since we moved from Highbury. We haven't really challenged that much for the title since, and it's been a difficult time. But when we start doing that again, when we start winning some trophies, when we start competing for the Premier League title, then I think everyone will see that it was the right decision for the long-term future. The short-term future, no, it was always going to be tough. It's been tough. But hopefully now we're getting to the end of that. We can now move into a new phase. I think we'll all miss Highbury. Those of us that went to Highbury, I used to have a season ticket there. It was fantastic. The atmosphere was unique. The stadium was unique. It was a one-off, and we'll never recreate that at the Emirates ever, no matter what happens. Highbury will always be the heart and soul of the club. But when we start having success at the Emirates, I'm sure everybody will maybe accept that was the future, and it's worked out okay in the end. But yeah, I would go back to Highbury all day long. It was fantastic. Brilliant memories there, and but things move on, don't they? We haven't been able to expand our stadium as you guys have. You've gone upwards into the sky, and you've managed to get a big capacity of 52,000. If we could have done that at Highbury, I'm sure we would have stayed, but we couldn't, so we had to move.
It's a shame, because Highbury's always going to be a name to remember, that sort of thing. I've been there a few times. It's absolutely electric there. It really is. The Premier League should have a winter break to give time players to come.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And cancel messages with get that one. Translation, that's wouldn't mind Zan Ramsey. Very comfortable on the ball. Someone who needs or James Ward-Prowse. I don't think after that.
You're not going to get him, but yeah, he's a great player, James Ward-Prowse.
No chance. Not now. Hi, John. Hope you're coming up for the Watford game. I'm sure I'm Wendy. It's a huge, massive game for us, and we need all the support we can get. Absolutely, Wendy. That's a huge game on Saturday week. That's a massive, massive game because we have got to do something against Watford because they're down at the minute. We can beat Watford on that week Saturday, then we got a great chance of staying up, and that probably costs Ranieri his job as well. They lost 6 games straight, and Watford's a stacking club, and they need to keep Ranieri now to the end of the season. They have to kind of keep changing managers.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's just a disgrace, that club. And can you give us Martinelli?
Absolutely no chance. That guy he's a special talent, Martinelli. He's going to be up there, one of the greatest players ever to play in the Premier League, I think, in the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, he's still only young. He's still only 20 years old. And look at what he did to Man City yesterday. They couldn't deal with him. He just ran them ragged, didn't he? And he does that every single time he plays. His attitude's brilliant. He's a worker, but he's also got unbelievable talent as well. And yes, he maybe needs to score a few more goals. He missed a couple of chances yesterday, but he is going to literally be the player to watch in the next 3 or 4 years. Whether he can stay at Arsenal or not, I don't know. And maybe he'll end up at Newcastle when you've got loads of money and you're winning the Premier League. That might be where he goes, but certainly not yet. And I don't want him to go at all because I think I think he's the best young player currently playing in the Premier League. And he's going to get better and better. You know, I know we've got Saka, we've got Smith Rowe, they're great as well, and they're fantastic. But I think Martinelli is capable of going to that next level. He's capable of Ronaldo-type levels in his career. I really think he is. And hopefully we can keep him and he can be the next Thierry Henry, maybe. Who knows?
I'll tell you what, though, this guy's so excited. I love watching this guy. I think he's so excited. I love his goal celebration as well. And he's already rated 3 figures anyway, so often by your club.
Yeah.
Obviously, when people watching live, every time I get a high rating, right, I'll next back in the next 10, 15 minutes or so. But listen, guys, 51 people watching live, that's amazing. Thank you so much indeed. Do hit the like button and do subscribe if you have not done so. And also, please join a member for as low as 99p. And as well, so that'd be fantastic if you do, and I think I've come a long way. Saka to sign for Newcastle in the next 5 years for 100 million.
No.
Into a package of Emil Smith Rowe. If you're going to sign Saka, you got to do the same with Smith Rowe.
No, you're not getting. Keep your hands off them. You're not getting them. No way.
It's not going to happen. Never going to happen. Richard, what's the atmosphere like in a London derby? A North London derby. We'd love to do one sometimes. North London derby. I mean, the atmosphere of those two teams are electric.
It is, yeah. I mean, I know the atmosphere at the Emirates maybe isn't quite what it used to be at Highbury, but in the big games and the London derbies, it can be special. I mean, this season against Tottenham was fantastic. Chelsea games generally this season, maybe not quite so much so, but Chelsea games can be good. West Ham as well, you always get a decent atmosphere against West Ham. The London derbies are good. And obviously, there's quite a lot of them every season now because there's a lot of London teams in the Premier League. So we get 4 or 5 a season and they're always special games, aren't they? So, yeah, I mean, if you haven't been to one, definitely try and get down to a London derby at the Emirates. It is good, especially if it's Chelsea or Tottenham or West Ham. The games against Crystal Palace or maybe Brentford and stuff don't have the same atmosphere, maybe, but certainly the big London derbies are. I mean, Arsenal Tottenham is one of the best atmospheres that you'll get, at Highbury or away at the Emirates or away at Tottenham as well. Fantastic atmosphere at them games. I think that's one of the biggest games of the season anywhere in the world, actually.
I'll tell you what as well. I mean, you're going to be next time at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, sort of thing, third place in the top 4. That's going to be absolutely electric.
That is going to be. That's a massive game now. In a couple of weeks' time, that is big. That is going to be a big atmosphere that day. There can be quite a nasty atmosphere, Arsenal Tottenham as well. So bear that in mind as well. It's not a family atmosphere, put it that way generally, but it is. It can be electric. Yeah, really good.
Oh man. Unbelievable. That is a brilliant. Let me say something special there as well. And read that one. But that's very quickly. Shane Burnley can hold on to dear so we can keep these in the mud with us. Listen, I mean, as long as Burnley don't get away from us, that is cool. That's 2 straight defeats for them. Brilliant for Newcastle. Watford lost the other day. And does Saka staff support Newcastle or have a family support? I heard that.
He's not going to Newcastle. Forget it. He's not.
Forget it. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to
happen, mate. Forget it. And listen, I was going to say, by wrap up as well. I mean, obviously, Arsenal are in a good position at the moment in time. Can you get the top 4? Can you finally, under Arteta, get the top 4?
Well, we can. I definitely think we can. I think there's a place in the top 4 for somebody this season because the top 3 are away, but there's not much to choose, is there? There's 3 or 4 teams in it. We can do it. Do I think we will? I think January could be a big month again if we can get 2 or 3 players in I say in them certain positions that we need, we'll have a great chance. And we're in there. We're in there now. You know, at the start of the season, I didn't think we had a chance of finishing top 4. Not a hope in hell. The fact that we're halfway through the season, we're in the top 4. Why can't we finish there? You know, we've got a great chance. We've got as good a chance as any of the other teams that's in there. You know, I just worry that if we suffer 2 or 3 injuries to key players, if Saka and Smith Rowe are out for any length of time, if Martinelli's out, you know, Thomas Partey's already away, we may well struggle, and that may be what decides it. But we get a couple of players in January. I mean, I want to think we can. I want to be confident and say, yes, we can finish top 4. And let's hope we can. We're in there now, so why not?
Champion. Just 2 more questions to go for. I'll let you get away. Richard, how far is Arsenal's ground to Chelsea's ground? How far is it? You got to get a tube, haven't you?
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, I mean, obviously Arsenal's in sort of North London, and Chelsea's over in the sort of southwest. So it probably would take about, I don't know, 45 minutes on the train. About that sort of time it takes on the underground. It's not massively far away, but it's not just around the corner either. You know, you'd have to get 2 or 3 trains, and you can get there. It's not a difficult journey. It just takes a little bit of time. Chelsea's in the posh part of London, so you know you want to avoid that really.
Yeah,
go to the Emirates. That's where you want to be. Just go to the Emirates. That's what you need.
Yeah. Well, hopefully when Newcastle play again next season, if we stay up there, you know, I may get a ticket for that game. We just never know. And Richard, what do you think of the commitment and the loyalty of the Toon fans? That's from Wendy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, even when Newcastle are struggling, they're still getting massive crowds. The fans in the stadium don't seem to turn on the team as much as other fans of other clubs do. I mean, Arsenal in particular, our fans can be very fickle when things aren't going well sometimes. So yeah, I mean, I think Newcastle have got a great fan base. I mean, Newcastle are a massive club. Let's get that clear. I think that some people maybe, you know, because Newcastle haven't won a trophy for all them years and stuff like that. People maybe think, Newcastle aren't a big club, but they are. You know, 52,000 near enough every week. Even when you've been struggling, you're still getting big crowds. So yeah, it is a great fan base that Newcastle have. So, and it's good. And clubs like Newcastle should be in the Premier League. You know, regardless of all the, you know, I know people are going to be, there's going to be a lot of hate directed at Newcastle because of the money now. You can see it happening, and people, you know, like Man City and Chelsea have had it in the past, and you know. But ultimately, Newcastle are a big club, and if any club in the Premier League deserves a takeover and deserves to have success, it's a club like Newcastle because they've been starved of it for so long. If it's going to be at Arsenal's expense, and I won't be very happy about that, but ultimately, the Newcastle fans deserve to see some success, don't they? Because they've suffered long enough and they've stuck with it. They're still there every week, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic club, let's be honest. And yeah, I hope Newcastle do well. I hope the money works out and that you do have success. Just I hope that we have success as well and we can enjoy it together.
Yeah, absolutely. So for it's not your expense. I mean, I think Man U would be one of them. I think I think that could be one of them because I don't think they're strong enough. I think it's the worst United team I've seen in many a year. And just one thing, how do you feel David came back with and Shep priority? I don't want to.
What a amazing. To be fair, that was an amazing game, and yeah, obviously there was a lot of strange decisions by the referee that game, wasn't there? A couple of penalties that Newcastle got were a little. I mean, we thought yesterday's penalty was soft, but those 2 Newcastle got that day. But I mean, obviously that Tiote goal was just incredible. What a goal that was. It was a shame from our point of view that it was that important and got you a draw. Obviously, what a great goal for him to score. We had a couple of goals disallowed as well. I think we had a goal disallowed. We could have won it 5-4, couldn't we? I think Van Persie scored, and that was, you know, it was a strange game, that wasn't it? But everything happened. It was a game that it was one of the greatest Premier League games ever, wasn't it? You know, unbelievable game. And yeah, obviously we should have won that game quite obviously. But what a turnaround actually from 4-0. That first half, we could have been 8-0 up at half time in that game. And the way, yes, we had a player sent off, and we know Joey Barton got the army sent off, and we know the referee was strange, but fair play Newcastle coming back into it. That hasn't happened very often, has it, from 4-0 down in the Premier League, a team not losing. So it was an incredible game, but obviously I was gutted when it finished 4-4.
Absolutely. But that could have cost managers jobs when we fought a lot.
Yeah.
Games like that, man, is not good. And with Newcastle in League One, we were still sell at FU. Absolutely, you would do, no doubt about it, Jamie. No doubt as well. Tom said, wish you the best of luck on the top 4. And let's just name our dream team. And rest in peace, Tiote. That's the last one. Richard, thank you very, very much for coming on. We've been here for another hour and a half sort of thing. I know you're a busy guy, but all I can say is got a transfer window open as well in for a month. And how many players do you think Newcastle would get in January?
Well, I mean, you can get whatever you want. You've got enough money to, I suppose. But I know it's not as simple as that, is it? I mean, I think you'll probably end up getting in maybe 3 or 4. I don't think there'll be any more than that, just because it's a difficult window, January. You know, you've got the African Cup of Nations, I said before, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to get any more than maybe 3 or 4 in. Hopefully you get the right 3 or 4 in, that'll keep you up. It's not how many players you buy, it's buying the right players. If you buy 2 players, but they're the right players that you need, that'll be good enough for now until the end of the season to keep you up. Or you could buy 6 players, and if 5 of them are no good, they're not the right attitudes that you need, then you've wasted. It's a waste of time. You need to get the right players, and how many you'll get, I think maybe 2 or 3. You'll probably get maybe 4, a couple of loans and stuff like that. But it's the right. Newcastle need to buy the right players. That's what needs to happen. Quite honestly, that's it. And if you get the right players in, you'll be fine. If you don't, if you make mistakes, buy the wrong characters for the battle, then it could be a very difficult end to the season for you. I'm hoping it's not, because I want you guys to stay up. I really do, and I hope you have a good window. But I'd say if you get in 3 or 4 players, you should be all right, I think.
Thanks, Steve. One final question before you go: Aubameyang to Newcastle, yes or no?
Yeah, take him. Go on, you can have him. I'll let you have him. Yeah, take him off our hands. But buy him, don't loan him. Just take him. You know, maybe I don't know, 20 million. Yeah, just have him now. That'll do. Man, actually, no, you've got enough money. 50 million, 60 million. There you go.
Hey, double the price. Right, we're definitely sorted out. The last one for the lovely Wendy. Great show, lads. Looking forward to the next one, John. Thanks so much, Wendy. Lovely. She is amazing. She's a big Toon fan. And she's quite tall as well, I think. I could be wrong. But listen, Wendy, you're a good sport. Thank you very much indeed for your comments today, and for everyone else as well. And we're going to end it there. And I'll be back. Maybe look back later on. I don't know what's going to happen yet. But I'll be back tomorrow at some stage for the transfer late is. And I'm definitely going to do one on Tuesday with Devils United, Maisie. She's lovely. I've been on the channel as well. She's absolutely fantastic. She's coming on. And James said good luck for us the rest of the season. That's from Jamie. Thanks very much indeed. And did you enjoy coming on the show, Richard, again?
Always, mate. I mean, I watch your show a lot anyway. It's always a pleasure to be on and chat to you. You know, I love what you do. Really, I'm really chuffed at the success of your channel and where it's going. It's brilliant, fully deserved as well. You put a lot of work into it. You do some great stuff, and it's great to be. You know, I'm just grateful to have been given the opportunity to be on your channel 2 or 3 times now. It's great, always great to chat to you, and say good luck to you for your channel as well. Because I say brilliant to reach 1,500 subscribers. Amazing, fantastic stuff.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And Ross says, take care, guys, as well.
Cheers,
Start with Newcastle and enter the Laguna. But there you go. Listen, Richard, thank you very much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate that. And you're always welcome to come on, and anytime you want to come on. And any breaking news for Arsenal or Newcastle as well, one of us, you definitely come back on. And guys, thanks for watching our channel. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and also do become a member as well. Any 100 I get, you'll be into a prize draw, and you're in a miniature try prize as well. And got a couple more as well. This one here is Foxy. Good show. Enjoy this weekend. Thanks a lot, Foxy from Colombia. Great song. Thank you very much to Jules. 1.5 million subscribers I've got, mate. So thank you very much indeed, Richard. Thanks for coming on, mate. Up the Gunas, and yeah.
Come on, you gunners.
Yeah, take care, my guy. Watch
yourself, mate. Take it easy. Speak to you.